Hari Shodhanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare.
Jaya Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada.
Jaya Prabhupada,
Jai Gaura Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Srila Prabhupada ki Tantra Srimad Bhagavatam Purana ki Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam Namaskrityam
Narayanam Namaskrityam
Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam To Jayamudirahet Prayeshu Abhadreshu Tim Bhagavata Sevaya Bhavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Okay, today we are reading from the first canto, second chapter, text number 31. Taya vilasiteshu guneshu gunavaniva anta pravishta abhati vignena vijrambitaha. The word-to-word meaning, translation, purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The word-to-word, taya, by themselves, them, vilasiteshu, although in the function, eshu, these, guneshu, the modes of material nature, gunavan, affected by the modes, iva, as if, antaha, within, pravishta, entered into, abhati, appears to be, vignena, by transcendental consciousness, vijrambitaha, fully enlightened. Translation: after creating the material substance, the Lord Vasudeva expanded himself and enters into it. And although he is within the material modes of nature and appears to be one of the created beings, he is always fully enlightened in his transcendental position. Purport. The living entities are separated part and parcels of the Lord and the conditioned living entities who are unfit for the spiritual kingdom are strewn within the material world to enjoy matter to the fullest extent. As Paramatma and eternal friend of the living entities, the Lord, by one of his plenary expansion proportions, accompanies the living entities to guide them in their material enjoyment and to become witness to all activities. While the living entities enjoy the material conditions, the Lord maintains his transcendental position without being affected by the material atmosphere. In the Vedic literature, Shruti, it is said that there are two birds in one tree, and one of them is eating the fruits of the tree, while the other is witnessing the actions. The witness is the Lord, and the fruit eater is the living entity. The fruit eater living entity has forgotten his real identity and is overwhelmed in the fruitive activities of the material conditions. But the Lord Paramatma is always full in transcendental knowledge. That is the difference between the super soul and the conditioned soul. The conditioned soul, living entity, is controlled by the laws of nature, while the Paramatma or the super soul is the controller of the material energy. Om Tat Sat. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gyananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanyamanovistam Sthapitamena Bhutale Swayam Rupagadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Taptakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavansha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Shrivam Sadvaitam Savatutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Daitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Daita Shri Vishal He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagapate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusude Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarvasta Kripasindevya Vachavitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnevyo Namo Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane Vishesha Shunyavadipasya Tadesha Tarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mokam Karati Vachalam Mangalam Gayati Girimet Kapadam Vande Shri Gurum Dintaranam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Tamsat. Okay, today's verse, first canto, second chapter, text number 31. Taya vilasiteshu guneshu gunamaniva anta pravishta vyati vignena vijrambitaha. After creating the material substance, the Lord Vasudeva expands himself and enters into it, and although he is within the three modes of material nature, appears to be one of the created beings, he is always fully enlightened in his transcendental position. Thank you for joining on one more of our sessions on the Sunday morning program. Time flies. It's just a matter of time. We were there in the last week when Nilamar Prabhu was presenting this wonderful subject of discussion on the start of the creation. But as it goes, it's also very, it's going to capture us in our a deeper understanding of what Srimad Bhagavatam is actually presenting it to us. So interestingly, we have just been started to be exposed to and also to become aware of more intriguing elements around us in this Srimad Bhagavatam journey. Srimad Bhagavatam is actually a very adventurous roller coaster ride. It's got thrills, intrigues, thrillers, serious debates, serious questions, questions beyond our known territory, possible solutions, many equations of why, when, what, where, how, personalized relationship between great devotees, crisscrossing global intrusions, anomalies, allegories, riddles, creations, many things. On top, it's also called Amala Puran, means spotless literature. So now we are here. Prabhupada is beautifully, lucidly explaining to that statement, which is a very refined translation. This particular example which is given, that there is a branch of a tree where two birds sit, one is a viewer and another one is an enjoyer. It's very famous and it has been presented in different places, right? Prabhupada explains here that the living entities are separated part and parcel of the Lord, and they are factually designed as conditioned souls. Unfortunately, they are unfit for the spiritual world because they're conditioned. But then how then can we get qualified? Is there any kind of a loophole to it? We'll probably have to see as it proceeds further. Where is the loophole for us to even get qualified to become from a conditioned soul to an unconditioned soul? In the meantime, this is what we are, this is the situation we have been put in, and we are all jumped into, right? So now we have to read and analyze and study what exactly Prabhupada is actually wanting us to understand it. By this simple four-line verse, there is so much of information being sandwiched. What here we are actually touching upon is like, touching or scratching the surface of the entire spiritual paradigm. Because in Krishna consciousness, philosophy is always very strong. It's like business cut edge, and the way in which it is presented by Srila Prabhupada is very lucid, very encapsulative. It gives you the deeper understanding and meaning of our real existence. So we as individual consistently we have to practice this. As conditioned souls, we need to learn the art of how to get unconditioned, and so that we'll be in a position to take ourselves back to the Supreme Lord's abode, right? So when the Lord actually enters, right, he enters like a lion and makes the material creation a possibility. Without the spiritual touch, there is nothing called material can ever exist. We all know about it. And sustain is extremely important. This sustenance and the creation is completely bewildering to the scientists. Why? Because they have been thinking about many theories. Darwin theory, that development, this development, process of evolution looks very childish, right? They are concentrating on the matter, but their concept of matter is evolving. That's what they say. Matter does not evolve, matter is dead. So, and then what is evolving? It is because of the presence of the spirit soul, it evolves. That we are practically know with lot of experience. They do not understand this. Many of the scientists, they actually don't accept it. Why? Because they are in a different mold, their mindset is different. But those who understand that there is always a superior energy for any activity, matter cannot move on its own, it needs some driver. That driver is the Supreme Lord as the spirit soul's partner, right, as the supreme spirit, right? This is very important. We need to understand. We also need to convey this to the people who feel that otherwise you are in the bodily platform. In our daily routine, we have many activities which are actually associated with the bodily platform, but we need to overcome that they don't understand. So actually we see this just like how a child is born. If the child is born dead, then it's simply a dead matter. But if it grows, then we know that the spirit soul is present within the body, and that's helping the child to develop. Similarly, the whole cosmic creation, this entire existing universe of the whole cosmos Brahmanda, which is here existing in the center, it's entering the entry of the existing at this point of time is because of the supreme soul, supreme spirit. Otherwise, how it can develop? It can't. So this is whether you take this body, that body, or any other body, unless the spirit exists, the body is existing as a living body. That's the differentiator, right? Practically, we see this, right? Karmana Deva Netrena. It is just because of the Supreme Lord's will that we are just Jantu. We don't have any qualities whatsoever to grow on our own. We are developed at this point of time till now is because of the Supreme Lord's present, personal present in the heart of the living entity, right? That makes the living entity a living person. The Supreme Lord all the time actually does only one job. He does just the supervision. Under the guidance of the Supreme Lord, according to the result of our work, the living entity of the soul is made to enter to a specific womb of a woman through the particle of male semen, which is what the Shastra has explained, to assume a particular type of body. Now, the living entity wants to enjoy. Because of the free will, it wants to enjoy. That's why we are here in this material world, right? We get different types of body on account of the desire which we have. And we get such kind of a body so that it gets adapted to the desire so that it can enjoy to the fullest extent, right?
Otherwise, when we want to enjoy something material, right, matter in a specific way, Krishna has to give us an opportunity, the kind of opportunity to be given. There are many things involved in this. It's just not that we have a desire, but we also have to get that sequencing act that Krishna has to fulfill the desire of the living entity for the entity to enjoy itself, right? The opportunity has to be provided for it to enjoy. But it's a package, it's a complete package by itself, right? Prakriti Kriyamanani Gunai Karmani Sarvasha. Bhagavad Gita explains in third chapter. Gunai Karmani Sarvasha Ahankara Vibhudatma, right? Kartavam iti manyate. It's thinking that I am the doer, I am the master, I am the boss, I am everything, I can control this, I can control that. But the fact is, it is not by guna and karma that you are able to control. You don't have any value whatsoever. You have been completely dependent on someone else. Everything is under the control of the Supreme Lord's energies. Krishna himself or Krishna's extended energies. Although the body can be obtained by some material means, arrangement, still the matter is there, but behind the matter, there is a driver. That is very, very evident and clear. That Krishna is that driver. As the living entity enters this material world, it can't do anything alone. Krishna also has to be with him. Moment Krishna is there present, then we can practically make out that okay, there is a soul, there is a super soul. There is no such difference as such if there is no soul and no super soul. Right? We are not same. We are only same qualitatively, but not quantitatively. That we need to understand. So all this is beautifully explained in the Science of Self-Realization is a book. Then in Bhagavad Gita it is explained. In there is a book written by Dr. Todam Singh, Bhakti Swarup Damodar Swami Maharaj, Life Comes from Life. These are beautiful books which we need to know. Then we can go deeper and understand what is the mindset the scientists have, what is the mindset the humans have, and how they can be manipulated and understood in a way that straightforward as per what our Krishna conscious philosophy teaches us, that there is a soul, there is a super soul, and they both are in the same branch of the tree. And then one is enjoying the fruits of the actions, another one is just being just a visitor. He's just watching what this guy is doing, and it's waiting. This non-fruit eating bird is just waiting for the other bird to stop eating the fruits of its labor and starts looking at this particular bird. Why? Because that's very, very important. Then is the start of the spiritual journey. This has to be understood. So this is explained in the Upanishad. So very beautifully explained. So this example is very, very vivid for us that it needs to be understood. So this is the same as the replica of the spiritual realm, right? Spiritual realm is always, full of Sat, Chit and Ananda. But whereas this particular area where we live is a temporary space, right? It is going to be there. Everyone who is going to be born has to die. Jata Shiva Dhruva Mrityur. There is no way that we can escape death. It is natural. That means something which you are going to relinquish your existing body, which is unfit for sacrificing and also making sure that your desires are getting fulfilled. You may probably be having so many other desires. I want to create a mountain. I want to do this. I want to do that. But you need to have a certain set of body in order to get that particular desire of yours get fulfilled. So this is exactly like how Prabhupada explains in one of the lectures that it is like a temporary structure, just like a Kumbh Mela camp or something like that, right? Bhutva bhuta praliyate. A chance is given to the living entity to enjoy to their fullest extent, to his satisfaction. The Vedic instructions also is there. So they may follow it or they may not follow it. If they follow it and then they come back and go back to Godhead, that's the fundamental plan and arrangement. But if they don't follow the Vedic statements, then they get entangled. They will be traveling up, down, below, and all that. Brahma, Gona, Loka, Puna, Ravartana, Janama, Kantaya, Punajanmana Vidyate. So you don't have a choice. If you are doing something good, you probably go to the heavens. Something bad, go to the hell, go here, go there, this species, that species. And it's the same. That is why it said, A Brahmanda Brahmite Kone Bhagyavan Jiva, Guru Krishna Prasadepaya Bhakti Lata Bija. Because you need to get that seed of bhakti. Unless until you get the seed of bhakti, you will not even have the choice or thoughts. You've been tossed like probably a Chinese preparation. You know, the Chinese guys, they prepare, and if you go to hotels or if you go to some Far East countries and all that, they probably, you'll see it in the street vendors. They have a big wok, and then they toss. They probably put some masala stuff and all that, and they put some noodles on this and spaghettis on this, and then they do some tossing up and down. That's how we are actually tossed. It is actually, we are not able to contemplate it, how bad our tossings are, because we are expected to live with a lifespan of say around 60 years, 70 years, 80 years, whatever. But that's a long duration for us. But factually, that's a peanuts in terms of the eyes of the heavenly bodies, heavenly people, right? So this is the intuition which we need to actually adapt with. That Krishna has given us a beautiful opportunity. We should not let loose this opportunity. Krishna is fully conscious. He does not at any point of time, if you can see this particular verse, and it mentions very clearly that Krishna is a controller of every single activity which he performs, right? Without being affected by any material atmosphere, his position is completely transcendental. Why? Because that's the way the Supreme Lord has decided his life. And he has decided, because he wants variety, is a fact. Because Am Bija Prajapitaha, he created this, right? So he is conscious, he knows every single thing, past, present, future, right? Before you and me, Krishna knows every single thing. Aham Vivasvate Yogam Praptam Avam Avyayam, right? He is already speaking this to the sun god when he said that, okay, don't worry, even though the data is lost, I'll make sure that the lost data is captured again. So he knows about it. But we as living entities have lost our consciousness. We have lost our memory of what the past was, even though we are part and parcel of the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna. But unfortunately, or fortunately, due to our time immemorial association with this material world, we have just lost the bet. We are identifying ourselves with material world with different capacities. Somebody feels that, you know, I'm this Mr. Donald Trump, or I'm Mr. Boris Johnson, or whatever, and this is how they are thinking. I'm an American, I'm a British, I'm an Indian, I'm an Australian, I'm Pakistani, I'm this and that. But where are we going? Nowhere. Somebody identifies with this body, somebody with the other body, with some society, some community, some nation. Prabhupada explains this very beautifully in these four books: Science of Self-Realization, Bhagavad Gita, Life Comes from Life, where it's actually interaction between different scientists and presentations, right? But Krishna does not get anything affected materially, because Narayana Paradvektyat. He doesn't belong to this world at all, even though he is the creator of this world. He is the designer of this world. He has every single thing, because he designed Brahma himself. So he knows everything, but he is aloof from all this. This is very important. So now, I said in the start, is there any loophole of us going back to Godhead from all these things? There is one beautiful verse which says in the Srimad Bhagavatam. It comes in the second chapter, which we actually touched upon some time back, right? It is Shunvatam Swakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Rudayantasta Abhadrani Vidunoti Suhud Satam. Then gradually what happens, all our dirty things, which we can call as lust, greedy, falsehood, anger, everything. Now we are covered with the material scarface. It's completely, it's like a, what do you call it? You are put into a cocoon, and there is no other choice that we have to break it out. Why the silkworm actually dies? It actually wounds the silk inside, going inside, and it thinks that I should be safe inside, so that no one can actually kill me or make me go off. So it builds a cocoon even after going inside, and stitches itself. In the same way, we have been stuck with this burdening bad things in our hearts. So that is something which we need to get it cleared. How does this happen? Shunvatam Swakata Krishna. Shunvatam, you need to Shravanam all the time. Hear about Krishna's pastimes, Krishna's activities, Krishna's paraphernalias, Krishna's holy names, Krishna's devotees. All these things are very Punya Shravana Kirtana, all the time remembering, hearing, always remembering, never to forget. So that process is that nice kirtans are played so that you can hear the holy names. You might feel a little bored, and what is this? The same Hare Rama, Hare Krishna. These people come and give the same lecture. There is nothing else in these people. Is there not something called joys? They don't have any joy. All the time they are thinking about this. See, there is a, if you are rich enough, then you can probably think about, okay, going to an ascot race, or you are rich enough to be in a royal society, then you will be doing something else nonsense. All these things are feeling. That's what enjoyment is all about. I can be happy, I can enjoy myself, I can keep drinking, I can do all sorts of nonsense. This is what is actually putting us and pulling us down so badly. And we don't have much choice, and we are stuck here like a very badly placed situation. Now we have to somehow or the other, there is no other choice, we have to somehow or the other overcome this. That can be only possible that the cleansing has to come, the clear direction has to be in place to us. Without which, in whatever circumstances we are put in whatever situation we are being pushed into, right? How do we able to overcome it? Everything has to come. That is only through Punya Shravana Kirtana. You do the Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, and all the time thinking about how I can serve the Lord, how I can serve the devotees. What is it that we as individual living entities has a free will? How do I use my free will in serving Krishna? It's very easy to be a boss because it's just the instructions. You keep giving, I am the boss, I can do anything, I will not do any work. But in reality, that's not so going to be. The situation is very, very different. How many times you can claim yourself as a boss, except for that situation comes where you are not a boss of that particular situation anymore, and someone else is going to boss you. This is how this world has been running. And the only way by which we can overcome this is accepting that you are not this body, you are a spirit soul, and burn your ego, not bury your ego. Because this is a false ego, it's not real ego. So you need to serve the Supreme Lord, serve the Supreme Lord's personal devotees, and by which you will actually grab these wonderful chants as a human being. This is not at all possible otherwise. Shastras are very evident, very clear, and it is giving us a very important notion. You can always think about it. No, every Monday, Sunday morning, this devotee comes, this person comes, he gives a lecture which is so serious. There is no fun in it. There is no joy in it. There is all the time he is talking about you are not this body, you are a spirit soul, you are this, you are that. Why is this on a Sunday morning? I should be having a very happy trend. Let me hear about what is India and New Zealand cricket match score. Is something positive coming in life, or who is going to win the World Cup or a Euro Cup or whatever. That's all temporary in its nature. Don't get associated with those things which are very futile. Look at something very, very major in our life. This is the only chance we have got. And this chance, we are so lucky that Krishna has enabled us to take up this Krishna consciousness, or at least giving us an exposure by the grace of the Supreme Lord Jagannath. That is why we sing the pranam mantra of Lord Jagannath as Bija mantra every day. Nilachala Nivasaya Nityaya Paramatmane Balabhadra Subhadrabhyam Jagannatha Ete Namo Namaha. Unless until we pray to the Supreme Lord, how do you expect that someone in the heart of every living entity will actually ignite yourself into the hearts to hearts connection? Tene Brahma Hridayadi Kavaye Muyyanti Yat Suryaho. First shloka, first chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam talks only about this. Lord Brahma could not even shake himself, and he had to do the tapa. How did they do? It's from the heart to heart. The connection was from the heart to heart. In the same way, this subject matter of material creation, or in fact, the entire second canto is only going to talk about that, and the third canto extends to it. So it can probably be very interesting for people who are really into it. They want to jump into it and they want to analyze it. They want to realize it that, okay, my situation is so badly placed, but Krishna has given me a loophole that I can go back by just hearing about what the different devotees are talking about, the entire world trends. That we don't need to know a great trend in this world, because it's the same story every morning. You take the newspaper out, it's not going to be different. It's the same black and white print. What is it going to say? 500 people died and 400 people got infected by corona delta variant. What is the new big deal about it? There'll be delta, there'll be beta, gamma, and alpha, and any methods will come on, because they don't know even how to coin it. There is no nomenclature element. Why? Because they don't know. This is the reality of this world. Looking at the bodily aspect, how can we overcome this situation? This situation is going to perennially exist in this world. These Shastras are very clear. That is why the devotees of the Lord, the practitioners of Srimad Bhagavatam, are extraordinarily exalted. This is the highest level someone can reach and beat the pinnacle of their life. If someone is crying, oh, he's in the most ripened fruit of, that's why it's called the ripened fruit. Srimad Bhagavatam is Nigama Galpataro Galitam Phalam. It's the ripened fruit because the message which is coming is so easily understandable and practiced in today's lifestyle. We don't have to think, oh my God, these devotees were there in this particular forest of Naimisharanya and they were sitting and doing nothing. They were just sitting and doing some swaha and they didn't have any other work to do. So they thought they will actually have a discussion. They didn't have any other subject matter to discuss, not about G7 summits or any other summits, but they would want to discuss about some king who is there, the ruler of this place. He's been cursed, right? And he's going to die in 7 days. Who's got that kind of an option, first of all? None of us know when we are going to die. We are sitting here. There is one devotee just recently, just 4 months back, this devotee was giving a Srimad Bhagavatam class in Mayapur. He's a very good friend of mine. His name is Shyam Sundar. He gave a beautiful Bhagavatam class. I heard his Bhagavatam class and I went off. Because I was in India, so it was a very sequencing time for me to hear Bhagavatam class. I saw that, oh, boy, he is giving nice, he is giving, and within next 5 minutes, I just heard that he left the body. He said, as soon as he finished his Bhagavatam lecture, he went and paid obeisances to Radha Madhav, and he said, okay, let me take some Kishri Prasadam, and then he just went. He wanted to have something. Before that, he said, I think I'm feeling a little bit uneasy. I've got some kind of a stress in my heart. Let me go to the doctor first and show it to him. He was on his way, he collapsed and died. That's all. All happened, everything in 30 minutes. Bhagavatam class over, paying obeisances over, walking out of the Garuda Dev is over, and then he collapsed. Over. So how many people have this wonderful opportunity of being told that, okay, you've got 7 days time. If given a chance to us, right, 7 days time, we will plan in such a manner that as if we have never seen that 7 days in our life, right? Realistically speaking, every single person will be planning like this. Okay, I need to do this for my children. I need to do this for my siblings, and I need to do this for that, this and that, and many, many things. But are we looking at the reality which is actually hitting our face direct? It's showing us a chance. That is Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam is showing us a chance that you have a chance. Time is just passing so fast. Last week, Neelambar Prabhu gave a class. This week, I'm giving a class, and it's all done. Within a matter of 7 days, so many things have happened to us in our own life, right? How do we overcome all these kind of situations? If we are serious practitioners to go back to the God, the Supreme Personality Godhead's personal abode, then we need to be pretty serious. In every single thing we do, we need to be rational. We need to be conscious. That is why Prabhupada says Krishna is always conscious, but we have lost that consciousness. Now we need to overcome that, and then that's where the challenge is. Apart from dealing our day-to-day routine, which is again another level of challenge, right? We have children to be readied off for going to school. We have our offices to do. We have our existing situations at home or in our families back home or many places. So these are all things there which is there as a baggage to us. Now we have to overcome that. Unless until we are ready to go for that kind of a modification to our lifestyle, right? How do we expect us to go back to garden? How do we expect us to? Krishna is ready to take us. He sees whether you are fit or not fit, that's okay. Krishna is not bothered whether you are fit or not. He looks at our endeavor. If we are putting little bit of endeavor, Swalpamapi yasya dharmasya thrato mahatot bhayat. Do the small devotional service. Take the food, don't eat it, offer it to Krishna. Whether it's a medicine or it's a mango, doesn't matter. Make sure that you offer it to Krishna first. Krishna, it belongs to you. I'm just an enjoyer at this point of time. After you enjoy the first morsel, right? I am only your servant. Jivere Swarupoye, Krishna Nityadas. Your eternally a constitutional position is always a servant. So if we can get to that, then we can enjoy the different rasas, the different mellows. 5 mellows you can actually absorb yourself with. right? These are the 5 mellows, which is very, very important us to just come and deeply understand ourselves in and absorb ourselves in Krishna consciousness. Then our entire life becomes extremely, extremely sublime in its nature. And we can become a good example to the world for us to follow. Because we all have certain set of what you call as a circle of influence. We have our own friends, we have our own cousins, we have our own families, we have family members, relative, extended families, many things. They are all waiting that, okay, this person is completely different. How do I change it? I want to see that kind of positivity. If they see your face, they will see, oh, okay, this is fantastic. This person has something different. His face is so bright, very effulgent, very aura. That is what is needed. That comes by this practice of Shunvatam Swakada Krishna. Punya Shravana Kirtana. Then the Hrudayantas, the Abhadrani, that change, the revolution in the heart automatically happens. Becomes Suhurt Satam. That has to come. Someday or the other it will come. But why wait? That we all have been put by the mother nature, material energy to be blasting us left, right, and center. Instead, accept it voluntarily. That is what is tapasya is all about. Just like tomorrow is a Ekadashi, right? If it's Ekadashi, then you know that you need to fast or you need to take some little bit more austerity, like chanting or reading Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam, or hearing to Chaitanya Charitamrita, or hear to Prabhupada lectures, or hear to some Krishna Katha which can inspire you to continue your daily routine, right? Otherwise, it becomes monotonous. Just imagine yourself putting yourself in the shoe on Monday morning, right? The first thing you do is that you plan from Sunday onwards. Oh my God, Monday is coming, Monday is coming, Monday is coming. So that's why it's Monday blues. So we don't have choice. This planning happens on Sunday itself. Oh, I have to send the child to the school. I have to send the husband to the office. Mataji's think like that. And the Prabhuji's think that, oh my God, my wife is being put on pressure. She will put pressure on me. Let me see in that way that the pressure is minimum. One small wrong thing in the Monday morning is going to impact 7 days a week. The same morning impact happens. Why? Because that is conditioning, right? So there are some certain set of things which is there in your control. There are some certain set of things which is not in your control, but we try to we try to manage that which is not in your control to become in under your control, which is not possible. So we need to learn this. That is why Krishna is exposing us what this material creation is all about, and why Krishna is making us a separated part and parcel of the Lord. He is not left us alone. He is not making us independent. He wants us to be always dependent on Him because He knows that we are a failure if we are independent. That is why, after creating this material substance, which is called this entire globe, Brahmanda, Mahatatvas, right? The Lord expands Himself and enters in, make sure that by the modes of material nature, He enables many things, right? He appears to be one of the created beings, but still He is aloof from this. He is not. He is seated in your heart. Sarvasya chaham hridhi sannivishto. He is giving that knowledge. He is absorbing, he is making ready, he is making a super packaged, super powered capsule, and so that you can take that and then be ready to be going back to Godhead. So that's very important for all of us. That's the learning from this particular shloka. So as we grow in the Srimad Bhagavatam, you will actually see many things coming up. There will be a beautiful allegory of Prachina Barihi. So many things come, but take as one shloka a day, one shloka, and then analyze it, segment it, deeply dive yourself, realize it, how is it related to each of the shlokas, what we have read. This is all discussed by the sages of Naimisharanya, asked those questions by the sages to Suta Goswami. Suta Goswami is actually explaining it to it. Why? Because he was present with Sukadev Goswami when Sukadev Goswami explained it to Parikshit Maharaj in the assembly at the banks of Ganges, and that's how things are going on. So now we are in some kind of a pattern by which we are able to understand, observe ourselves in this divine knowledge which Krishna is giving through the words coming from Srimad Bhagavatam. So that's all it is for this particular shloka. I hope I am able to explain it to you as much as the intelligence was given to me by the Lord. And I'll stop here. If there is any questions, reflections, any more additions to what we have discussed, you're most welcome.
Otherwise, that is very important one thing, that there might be some kind of monotonicity in our presentations or in our hearing, but never let it go. Because Shastras explain that the person who sustains for long actually wins the race. You need to learn the art of sustenance calmly, deeply, deep dive yourself, understand yourself, and then see yourself as what these devotees are trying to measure you. The message which is coming from Srila Prabhupada are very divine in its nature. If not for Srila Prabhupada, we would have probably been badly placed, very badly placed. This is just costless grace of this wonderful, pure Vaishnava, pure devotee of the Lord. If not for Prabhupada, we would not have been in this good space. Now, today, we have more than around 30 devotees sitting and hearing to Srimad Bhagavatam. It's been very, very clear, evident. This Sunday morning program is expressing everyone that importance, right? Practicing devotees, we are trying our levels best. Krishna is going to inspire you. He is going to make sure that you become a good devotee. But you need to take that responsibility and ownership. That is where the key of our every success lies. So please do not hesitate. If you have any difficulties in practicing Krishna consciousness, do not hesitate. Reach us, and we are here to help you. This is the last step on our calling stop. If we are Krishna conscious, we will always become Krishna conscious by the grace of the Lord. That's very important for us. Okay? Right. Any questions? Any
Haribol,
comments?
Haribol,
Yes.
Krishna
Yes,
Guru,
Mataji.
Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
All
I
goes.
just want to thank Revati Mataji, Revati Bharati Mataji for including me in this group. It doesn't matter if you're devotee, long or short. Association is very important. Very,
Absolutely.
very important, especially in this lockdown. So she saved me.
All glories to her. All glories to all the devotees
Yes.
who are going out of their way to help everyone. This
Yes.
is what our vritti is. We need to support everyone, and we need to also be stronger in our practice. If we don't practice ourselves, we cannot actually preach to others. That becomes a Hippocratic statement, right? So we need to practice. Practice make a person very, very perfect. This is what Krishna consciousness is all about. Sharing that love which someone is having. So I'm thanking that Bharti Rati Mataji has been a small instrument in your spiritual progress. Please continue to do so. And do not hesitate to reach us if in case you need some help.
Haribol.
Haribol.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, please say some humble obeisance. All glory to Prabhupada, all glory to Gurudev. Thank you for a lovely class, very enlightening. I just wanted your opinion and maybe your feedback or maybe your help on this actually. Is when we talk to people about Krishna consciousness and this and that, and then sometimes they come along with something like, well, if Krishna has planned everything, then he has always also planned that I enjoy this material world, right? Watching all these mundane hocus soap religious programs and reading mundane literatures and stuff. And so they always say, oh yeah, well, Krishna's planned this for me, so I'm happy to enjoy what Krishna's planned for me. So what is your take on this?
Well, that's their take. My take is not that way. I am enjoying the most of my life, the highest level of happiness.
How can we help them? How can we
Hmm?
help them? How can we help them?
See, it's not an easy factor in one sense, because there is conditioning also. You need to bring some kind of a sukruti first of all. This is not some straightforward jump into the well and then start swimming. We cannot do that. Krishna consciousness is a very, very systematic presentation. It's scientific in its nature. So you need a lot of physics. You need to know the lot of physics behind how it can be presented in such a manner that they will take it for their life. It's a physics, it's a science. It's not that we just ask someone to jump into the river or water and then just start swimming and then you learn it. No, it won't. Krishna consciousness should be presented in such a manner that they have to take it for their life. But unfortunately, there are many factors involved for a person to move and see towards Krishna. First of all, they should have little liking. This is what Krishna actually looks for in them. Krishna is not expecting them to completely turn themselves. See, it's not that we have left everything. We still like to eat some ice cream, so we can't make ice cream. So we go to the shopping, superstore and buy ice cream. But what we do, we change our consciousness. Instead of doing ourselves directly eating, we offer it to Krishna and say, "Oh Lord, at this point of time, my craving is like this. What do I do?" So then I will offer it to you. First, purify it yourself, and then take to the next level. After some time, that craving of this ice cream will go off, and then maybe if you feel that, the way in which you will think is that, okay, it's a summer season, it's getting a little warm, so why don't I try to learn how to make an ice cream and offer to Krishna at home? See, there is a small change in your consciousness from going and buying yourself first for yourself, and then going and buying it, and then second you are offering it. That's the second step. The third step, your consciousness is changed. How? Instead of going and buying outside, now you are ready to learn through a YouTube or some notebooks or some cookbooks, and then you are trying to learn how to make an ice cream and offer it to Krishna. See how beautiful that modification of your mind and heart is. That is a revelation which is turning up, but you don't even know about it, because that's the subtlety of this process of Krishna consciousness. So it's a physics. So now, how do we explain this to them? They cannot be explained through theory. It has to be done through practical. Everyone speaks theory very much. I can speak, you can speak, everyone can read Bhagavatam, give a lecture, and then stop it. That's all. It's like switching on the tape, switch off the tape. So it will go on. But no, that theory has to be converted into a practical presentation. So how do you do that? One by example. Now they will slowly watch you change. That revolution will happen to everyone because Krishna is seated in their heart. So that desire, small desire, how is it that these people are all the time happy? They are not tense, even though there are so many difficult situations come to their life. They are not getting disturbed at all. They are cool. They are handling situations so strongly that change will come to them. And also, you should see their karma may not probably suit them at this point of time. You tell them 100 times. Just like, for example, I'll give you. I was actually talking to one of the CEOs of a company, right? This guy is not a CEO, sorry, he's a CFO, so Chief Financial Officer. He was a brilliant guy. He's extraordinary, but he was a super non-veg eater. Every single day, he was only diving in non-veg and getting out of non-veg eating. Morning, afternoon, night, you name it, he will only take that. That kind of a person, suddenly I realized after a few years, I have tried to preach, right? I've told him that no, this is not a great way of it. You are in a very refined position in the society, right? You can't have 101 CFOs in one single company. So you are in a very unique, specialized position. So that means that you have got edge over the others. So now I have spoken to him about Krishna consciousness, practice of this and all that, but that time he was not inclined because his values of life at that point of time was not conducive for him to adapt. He was in the mode of career, he was mode of passion, mode of ignorance and those kind of things. And also his karma was not ready, but the seed of bhakti is given to him and the rest is worked from the heart by the Lord and Srila Prabhupada. So we don't have any control over this thing. And see, recently I apparently happened to see his name in one of the Zoom classes which I gave to one of the centers in India. Then I saw this name. It sounds bell. How is this guy? Is it the same guy or someone else? And then I just searched out. I saw the name. I messaged him and then found out he was the same guy whom I was speaking. Now he is in a position of getting initiated next month or something. So then I was wondering, what on earth is this? This guy, how did he become? You know, he said, my wife is chanting 16 rounds. I am chanting. My daughter is chanting 4 rounds. My family is all changed. We are completely relinquished. Thanks to you. You are the guide. I said, what guide? I spoke to you. You never accepted my words at all in the first instance. That was 10, 12 years back. So now this person is revolutionizing himself. Now he is giving class and he's got edge over the others. Why he's got edge over others? Because he is doing in a very specialized position. So he brings that baggage with him. So, and he is reading Bhagavatam. So that becomes an additional beautiful baggage for him. So his presentations, people will simply accept it, right? That's how it is. So this is not changed by you and me, by our words. Prabhupada was asked this question, Prabhupada, what can I do? How do I change someone's heart? They say, in 2 minutes, what you can present? You can't present Krishna consciousness in 2 minutes. So just simply give them a book and that will change its heart. that person's heart in some way or the other. So you need to be very unique. You need to come out with some innovative concepts of how to present Krishna consciousness. Someone who is Krishna conscious now, you can be very systematic. Like for example, Prathamaya Prabhu is preaching to some hippies, right? He is not going and telling them go and read books. He is trying to engage them in some way or the other by maybe by kirtans. You are a part of it, so maybe by kirtans, maybe by cooking some prasadam. That is a revolution. You don't associate with them closely to take their foods. We don't do that. We give our consciousness. That way, that revolution will be happening slowly, slowly, slowly. It's a parivartanam. It doesn't happen one day affair. It's not a one day affair. It is lifetime. We are all stuck in this material realm. How do we change them? Because even though we have that inclination, even though we have the craving that we need to somehow or the other preach to these people, because we are feeling so happy, because we are seeing that happiness in there in the heart, and you see that I have got something good, I need to share that goodness with others. That is why you are going out of your way to give association. Just like Mataji said that I'm so thankful that I was included and I was being given this association by Bharti, right? Why will anyone say that? It is with good heart, good intention. This is the thought in which Krishna consciousness is presented as a part of physics, right? It is not that something that we do it now and then forget it and we don't follow. First, you need to be an exemplary example. Unless until exemplary example you are, how do you expect others to even contemplate be you as a part of their menting? You can't even just move anything. So this will happen, but you need to be patient, perseverance. And but more than this perseverance is Krishna's grace has to be there on that particular devotee. I gave an example of this devotee who was actually, he was a devotee in his own way, but just by giving Krishna prasadam, he is now helping us to host Rath Yatras and other stuffs. So this is the fact of Krishna consciousness. We have to be innovative. Like for example, if you have to reach a man's heart through the stomach, right? So how do you do this? You take prasadam with you, give some cookies to the children. If you find that they have a dog, then give some biscuit, which is Krishna prasadam, to the dog also, because it's also a living entity, right? It needs to be changed. But unfortunately, we as Krishna conscious practitioners, we don't entertain pets. Why? Because that's intriguing with a different living entity, which is what Prabhupada explained that it's not a great option for us. But however, if someone has it, try to be innovative in your ways in presenting this Krishna conscious. Like for example, there is one Mataji in Harrow, Hardiki. I don't know if any one of you know. She's phenomenal in doing artwork. She involves every single weekend. She spends some time with the childrens. She inspires childrens on theme-based art classes. Like for example, Narsimha Chaturdashi, she will come out with the childrens. Come on, all of you jump into this. Let's get on a Zoom call. Today is Narsimha Chaturdashi, so let's see how we can beautifully paint Narsimdev or any of the characters or personalities associated with Narsimdev pastime, right? So how beautifully she is evolving then, and this is needed. In the same way, let's be more innovative, and then you should get the answer for that. And Krishna in your heart is going to give you the exact way by which you can actually take up Krishna consciousness serious. Because everyone is looking for happiness, but in the wrong place. Everyone is looking for something good in their life, but unfortunately in the wrong situations, right? All this TPC has to come in the right format, time, place, circumstances. Otherwise, it's highly impossible. Someone who's that is a devotee very remotely placed, is craving. One time I was in a place called Alain. It's in United Arab Emirates. It's a very remote place. It's between two countries. One is between Saudi Arabia, another one is between Muscat or Oman state. So now I was in this place and there are only two devotees. I traveled all the way for almost like 170 kilometers one way just to make sure that this devotee is seriously going to practice. I went there, it was in 2000. At that time, it was only one way. We didn't have early times of mobile usage. So, but the way in which I had an opportunity to take, you can't travel anywhere and everywhere without any passports, visas, anything of this sort and all that. It's very, very challenging because anytime you will be called. There, devotees are there. They all join. 4 or 5 people join. But the way in which is practiced, you can't take printouts. You can't have any internet connections. You can't have kartals.
You can't have more than 4 pairs of slippers in your house veranda, because then there is a religious police and there is impediment to this. None of these kind of situations are there to us at this point. Krishna is, at least except for the pandemic, which is a global trend, but otherwise we are all in very good space. So why not use our wonderful space in spreading Krishna consciousness and taking this Krishna consciousness to the people who are desperately looking for that happiness? That's possible. It's not that it's impossible. Probably it needs a little bit of physical thinking. Use our physics, chemistry, mathematics, biology, whatever. Get this rolling. Get into some kind of a debate, or get into some, not a debate, rather, it's a wrong word usage. Get into a type of, discussion, with people who are in like-minded, where they can present something, how they can take Krishna consciousness to the next level. But you need a roadmap. Unless until you have a roadmap, you can't actually achieve anywhere. You will be stuck here and you will be thinking, what do I do? How do I do? What is your view? That question will keep on coming. But you need to come out with level 1, level 2, level 3 presentation. First, come out with your presentation, share it with me. I will see whether it's something which we can modify or addendum it, and then see how we can take it forward. So it's possible. But that's what life is all about. That's what Krishna consciousness is meant to be for. Sharing this love and joy of life with others who are desperately looking for it, craving for it. Because we know that love, affection, happiness, everything is there in abundance in us, we have become very familiar to it, and we don't know how that happiness and how that love is for those people who are being bereft of. We have lost that. We don't know. If you have been asked, do you want a cake, you will say, no, I don't want a cake. Why? Because every day in and day out you are eating cake, so you know what cake is, and you know what the love of cake or liking of a cake is, and you will keep giving a full list of different varieties of cakes. Why? Because you know it, so it's become familiar to your system. So Krishna consciousness is very easy to get lost. That's why Srila Prabhupada writes, Krishna consciousness is a practice which is like walking on a thin razor's edge. So you go straight, you go straight, you're saved. If you just focuses somewhere else, in a moment's time, you'll be slack. You'll get a cut, and then that's more painful, right? So that's how we present Krishna consciousness. Hope that answers you.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Take a lot to board. Thank you very much, Hare
Okay.
Krishna.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. There is some questions, 1 or 2, okay. Prabhu, my question is how to always have this higher taste to reach the Prabhupada books and practice, because sometimes I notice that my mind is dragged to some material energy. Well, it's not wrong in that manner, that if you have been compelled to take you away from activities which you are not you wanted to do, but still you can't. But you can pray, and you can pray to the Lord that, oh Lord, please. Prabhupada prayed this fantastic verses. I just read it today morning. I was shocked to hear that Prabhupada said. Prabhupada had so much of opulence. He went with 40 rupees, which was useless in the Western country, right? 40 rupees is nothing with a suitcase of books. He went to the Jaladuta from Pearl Harbor in Calcutta, and he went there. So when he went, and then they got a place. There is a place called Fisher's Mansion. Have you heard of this? It's in a place called Detroit. That's actually the place where Alfred Ford, that is Amrish Das, actually his father, he bought that place. And in this beautiful place, it's a replica of the spiritual world. If you read Krishna book, it will say how Nanda Maharaj palace was. Huge corridors, huge pillars with all golden and bedecked with the lapis lazuli, these kind of things. So these are gems and all that, all sticked into one single place and beautiful, right? Now this particular mansion came to ISKCON's area, because actually in that place it's next to a slum. What do you call slum? In English it's slum, that's all. Slum means impoverished people staying in one colony or something. It's close to that. But still, Prabhupada got this mansion in the name of ISKCON. Prabhupada was so happy and thrilled. And then
tears came out of his eyes, and Prabhupada said, I am praying to the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna that he ensures me that I never fall down. See, this is the pure devotee's prayers. Prabhupada says it's possible for us. If we get all these opulences, that means you are practicing bhakti, you are practicing Krishna consciousness. Because you'll get money, you'll get opulence, you'll get riches in many, many folds, but you will not get Krishna. Krishna will give everything to you. He will, in fact, even he will, in fact, ready to give even Lakshmi, but he will not give himself. So, but we are here not for that. We are here to take Krishna's lotus feet. If you want to grab with two hands Krishna's lotus feet, that means opulence and all these things are subsidiary products of our bhakti. If you are not serious about our chanting the holy name of the Lord, if you are not focusing on Krishna consciousness deeply, then all these things come into picture. All the opulence, everything will come, riches, food, clothing, shelter, everything in multiple levels. But you will not get Krishna. If we want Krishna, we should be really, really serious about our practice. Chanting 16 rounds without no man's business. You sit in one corner, you are connected to the Supreme Lord, the holy names. You keep the Lord in the center of your place, a special private space. This is your spiritual place. And then start chanting and then relish that love. That is Anandamaya Vyasa, eternal bliss. And you will swim on that ocean. You will feel that after a few moments, you will see that you are associating with the Lord's personal internal energy. That is how you should do. Then all these kind of things of being dragged away for some material things doesn't actually exist. It automatically goes on with you. Hope that answers Mataji's question. I prayed for my cousin and asked, okay, I brought some okay, I didn't say anything more. Yes, she will, she will. Krishna is there in the heart of every living entity. So you will definitely be able to connect. It's not that it's with our capacity that we are trying to prove the world that, okay, I'm the best of preachers. I'm the one, I can do it, I shall do it, I can do it. No, it won't work that way. The way in which works is that Krishna has to move. There is a beautiful verse on this, Nai Pravartanat, right? It says, if Krishna Shakti Vina, Krishna Shakti Vina Nai Pravartanat, means without Krishna's power, Krishna's energy, Krishna's his personal effort, we cannot see a change in our heart. But we need to be ready to accept the change which is coming our way by the grace of the Supreme Lord. So that's the idea behind all this. Okay. So any other questions? Anyone else? Otherwise, we are good to stop at this point.